Hi, this is Michael Munshaw, artist on Marvel Masterpieces and Marvel Premiere Cards. You're listening to the two hippest dudes in the sketch card industry, Ian Taylor and Norrin Rad, on the Marvel Card Collectors Podcast.
Hello,
And there it is.
Well,
That was
and
fast.
he's cocked it already. All right, I'm going to carry on. I don't care. You can leave this in. I don't
Screw
mind.
it.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ian Taylor, and welcome to the Marvel Card Collectors Podcast, brought to you by the Marvel Cards Fan Collective, an awesome community of card collectors and creators. You can find our two groups on Facebook, details of which are at the end of this podcast, so come and check us out. With me is my co-pilot in all things Marvel cards, the ambitious yet delicious Norrin Rad.
Hey, everyone.
This is the third time we've tried to start this podcast today.
Yep.
I love it. Okay. Episode 6 of the MCCP, as the Soviets call it. I have to say, thank you to everyone who's listened to us so far and given us some kind words of encouragement and feedback on Facebook, on Instagram, and via direct messages. It's been really nice.
It's been really nice to see everyone really enjoy this.
We know that, or at least I like to think that it gets better.
I hope so.
We've already had a technological upgrade that you may have noticed on last week's episode.
My beautiful voice.
Your microphone. So we both have, for those of a technical leaning, we're both using Sennheiser PC7 headset microphones with noise cancelling boom arm or whatever it's called. And they are delicious yet very cost-effective pieces of kit. So hopefully you'll be able to hear us both in gorgeous stereophonic sound, which is good. So I've got what to talk about, where to start. So this week, Norrin, tell me what you've been up to, because it's actually been about 2 weeks since we recorded for various reasons.
That's right. Yep. Yeah, it has been. It has been.
What have you been up to, buddy? What's been happening?
In terms of the hobby, I've decided to make a print, actually, like a Mondo style type of print. And I very much have enjoyed getting into that. And basically what I'm doing, and there'll be a post about this and I'll let people know. Because I'm actually gonna think I'll sell them. Sell a few if people want them. I'm recreating the name tags on all of the Marvel Masterpiece cards. So if you have a particular it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So if you have a particular character, I'm only going to do one of one. So once someone tells me a character, that character is taken and I'm not printing it out, I'm actually going to erase the file and sell that to the person, and they'll have that one of one.
Great. Okay. Well, I'm going to
recreate that.
I'm going to.
I already got you.
Cat now. Yeah, we go.
I got you. I got you. She's already done.
Good.
Venom as well is already taken. So people are starting to want them already. So I'm actually one thing away from finishing it up, and it's taken. I recreated. When I say recreate, I mean I looked at the card. I didn't scan the card, copy and paste. No,
I hate when I do that.
Like that.
Just
looked at the card.
Yeah,
I'll just bleep it out. Perfect. There we go.
Just bleep it. Let's get a comedy bleep from somewhere.
Just comedy bleep.
We can have our own comedy bleep.
There we go.
You can test it. I'll just say, "Mother."
I hate when I do that.
Right now, and you can test it and drop it in there.
Perfect.
And hopefully,
that's good.
Laughing along at home and have swerved off the freeway
and enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. Carry on.
Me and my foul mouth. So it hasn't been copy and paste. It hasn't been scaling. These are recreated by hand, meticulously textured, cut and pasted. I've had to recreate fonts, which I've never done before.
Yeah.
So it's been really fun. I've been keeping myself busy so I don't spend money on cards, because that's the way I do my hobby, is that I keep myself busy by enjoying the cards, so I don't want to buy more cards. That's been my weekend hobby.
That sounds pretty good. Whilst you've been saying that, not that I haven't been listening to you, but just before we hit record, I managed to lock myself up log myself out of my Upper Deck ePack account because I am a klutz and I forgot my password. And also the the temporary password they sent me didn't work. And I tried that twice. So I'd had 5 attempts at my own, 2 attempts using the password that they sent me, Upper Deck ePack, and that didn't work either. So now my account just got locked. So now I've been sent a new password. Not that it makes for good podcast listening, but I'm going to try and do that kind of as live as we get on air. So live from the Marvel Card Collectors Podcast Studio. Will
Tensions are
Ian
high.
be able to access
Please,
the ePack
everyone
account?
in the audience,
Yeah,
remain
please, for the
quiet.
love of God. Right.
This is
Try.
a very rare
Ah!
event.
Email or password is incorrect. And I've just copied and pasted it out of
No.
their email.
We are so sorry to see this is such a disgrace.
This is just disgraceful.
It's a devastating thing to the hobby.
Okay, so I can't access my account while we're on this, so which isn't the end of the world. What have I been up to?
What have you been up to,
What
sir?
have I been up to? Well, I have been on vacation, as everyone apart from the Brits call it. So I've been on holiday.
Holiday.
And we went to the Spanish island of Menorca. And
Wow.
it was absolutely wonderful. I got sunburnt on the first day, and it's basically one of these all-inclusive places where fat white people go to get sunburnt. So it was perfect.
I want to be that.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Lots of food, fully inclusive. So as much as you wanted to eat or drink, as I found out. And bizarrely enough, I didn't expect. Okay, when I got on the plane to leave to go to Menorca, I had 0 skin in the Fleer Ultra X-Men 2018 game. Otherwise, will be known as Fuxum for the rest of this this podcast phone call.
Perfect.
Simply because Fuxum makes me laugh to say. So, and when I got back, I have over 500 cards in my ePack account.
Wait, 500?
Yeah, over 500. I can't get in to actually tell the exact number. So it went a bit crazy. It kind of escalated quickly as the
as every card escalates quickly
goes. So I kind of thought this week I'd like to talk about Fleer Ultra X-Men because I'm absolutely brand spanking new to the 2018 set, but I've kind of been nibbling away at the 94, 95 sets. When I say nibbling away, is that I'm relatively new to them. I didn't get into them at the time, and I bought a few lots of base cards, which were in varying quality. So I've kind of got 2 massive stacks, and I'm trying to see if I've got a full set of the 95, I believe, because the ones I've got, I know I've got doubles of. Some of them are quite tatty, so I need to fix that. I'm not going to sling them in plastic and grade them, so it's not the end of the world for me. But I would like them to be slightly more visually appealing than some of them are. So
yeah, I get that.
I've been nibbling away at that, and then when I got back from vacation, I did actually have a mail call. We need a jingle for mail call. Someone knock that up and email it to us.
Please, someone with a beautiful voice.
Someone with a beautiful voice. Oh, indeed. Audio studio skills.
There you go.
So what did I have arrive? I had arrive Hunters and Stalkers, which is the, I think it's 95. There we go. Fleer Ultra 95. Chase set called Hunters and Stalkers, which is 9 cards. And the sun has just come out in my loft room, and these are absolutely dazzling me with the reflection. Wow.
I can see them.
Yeah, you can see that on my face because we've got video.
I thought you were sunbathing.
Yeah, exactly. Not again. And they are absolutely stunning. I've only got 5 of the 9, and I believe that these are the kind of base level of that. And when I say base level, he says peddling slightly to get the webpage up on Jeff Anada's House of Checklists, folks, which is kind
Yes.
of my number one resource.
And we are not sponsored by Jeff.
We're not
Just
sponsored
so
by
everybody
Jeff.
knows.
However, Jeff, your money's no good here. We'll quite happily pimp you.
Seriously.
Yeah, no, it's
You
good.
are a god.
Oh, this website is lovely. Anyway, so Hunters and Stalkers. It says in brackets Power Blast cards, although it doesn't say Power Blast on the cards themselves. Art by Dave DeVries. So I guess Dave. I guess the first question is who you would have heard at the beginning of last week's episode, by the way. So
yeah.
hats off to Dave DeVries. More
The
from him.
best.
More from him soon. Hunters and Stalkers Power Blast cards, art by Dave DeVries. So first of all, this is a question, and this is a question that we will be repeating, not on this week's episode. Is there a Marvel card set that Dave DeVries hasn't worked on that came out?
That's a good one, actually. I wonder.
1990? So yeah, so there's a trivia question, folks. Obviously, there are notable ones that he hasn't worked on, such as
but there are notable ones that he
Masterpieces
has worked
96.
on as well.
Exactly. So. And
Beast.
it's the beauty of this. This set has been out for 24 years. There we go. My maths GCSE is not wasted. And I'm literally just discovering it now. So Hunters and Stalkers came in rainbow, silver, and gold sets.
Wow.
And I believe that gold was Walmart. The rainbow, I'm guessing, was kind of the generic everywhere one, and silver, I'm not sure. So I have heard tell of these, but until I kind of got into the set, I was kind of unaware of how lovely they are. I mean, they are really, really nice cards.
Well, yeah, I'm looking at the cards now on eBay, the 95, and I mean they have the iconic, probably one of the most iconic Wolverine cards in all of our hobby.
Yeah.
I don't know who does that one. I forget. It's on the cover of the binder. Oh, and that one's really nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, the do you mean the one that's on the binder?
The binder,
which, by the way, the Fleer Ultra X-Men 90s binder is a thing of beauty. And if I was to,
it's epic.
If I was to open a book, open a poll. In fact, let's do this. Let's do a poll.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Best
We'll
binders.
put it live when this episode drops.
Perfect.
But we'll have like a binder World Cup. So we'll line up different binders against each other, so it's random. So you'll have a first round, then there'll be the votes, then there'll be a second round, and then we'll whittle it down, and we'll kind of have the winner. You know,
I love that
death match. But yeah, that Wolverine from that set, I'm not sure who is that art actually.
I don't know. Let me see if I can see it back. Who did it?
But while you're looking for that, so I'm just going to go through the artist checklist. So Fleer Ultra X-Men 95. Now there was a 94 set, but I'm on the 95 page, so that's the one I'm going to talk about. So,
oh man, they had they also had the haunted mansions one. The haunted mansion variants from that set.
Oh
no, that was 96.
Oh yes. Now there was a 96 one. But
there was a 96. Sorry.
Yes.
95 is so good. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
So on the where are we? Let's scroll. Here we go. So Fleer Ultra X-Men 95. You had this is an artist list. You had Bob Larkin. He's if he's the guy I'm thinking of, I follow him on Instagram. He's hilarious. There's a couple of these guys I've not heard of who may still be active. I know I looked for one of them, Lou Harrison, because I posted one of his Marvel Masterpieces cards in Daily Masterpieces a few days back, and I looked, and he doesn't appear to have a social media presence. An artist called Lou Harrison. So a lot of these guys, I don't know if they're still active, or I don't know if they've moved on to other areas of artwork. For example, we know that Boris and Julie don't tend to do Marvel cards anymore or Marvel artwork. Julie's doing some absolutely stunning paintings that she shows off on her Instagram feed, but they're very, they're not Marvel based in any way. They're kind of fantasy, and in some cases just beautiful artworks. I don't know what ethereal is the word I would call them. Anyway, so but Julie's on this set. Boris is on this set. Boris Vallejo. Peter Bollinger, Dave Dorman, who's a friend to the group. He's in at least Marvel Masterpieces collectors, possibly Marvel Card Collectors Worldwide, and yeah, nice fella. He's another guy. Which Dave has been on more card sets? There you go. There's a trivia question.
Yeah.
DeVries or Dorman? You've got Ray Largo.
Yeah.
Stunning work by that guy.
I like Ray.
You've got Catherine Huerta. You've got Larry Stroman. You've got Tom Taggart, Luis Perez. The list just goes on and on and on. But there's some notable ones further down. Glenn Fabry. So if you know your Garth Ennis work, Glenn Fabry is the guy who did all of the covers for Preacher. And he did some cards in Fleer Ultra X-Men '95. So
wow, that blows me away. I can't believe that.
Exactly.
I think that's one of the coolest things about the hobbies too, man.
Yeah.
You can really, like, up and coming artists are always pulled
Exactly.
in, or it's crazy.
Yeah. Dimitris Patelis. Hello, Dimitris, if you're listening. Is in this set. Tom Fleming, who did artwork for Fleer Ultra X-Men 2018 and is in the groups. Really sweet guy.
He does. I mean, he does really great work, and he's really open about original artwork as well.
Yeah,
like he very much has it. A lot of people are going digital now, which is not a good or bad thing, you know. But it is nice. Yeah, it is what it is. But it is really nice when the artists are still able to do the originals, and we can see those too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely, and they make them available for collectors and fans to
which is
purchase.
Super great.
They make
super
prints,
kind.
Which I believe Tom did some prints.
I think Tom did do something like that. I think
he did. I think he did some limited edition prints and put them for sale on.
Yeah, he did something on his site. I think. Yeah.
Exactly, and he posted, which is great. So, but Tom, if you're listening, hats off to you, sir.
Seriously, you rock.
Who else? Sorry, I haven't finished this list because it is literally.
Oh, sorry, man.
Two of. I haven't dropped the big one yet. Nelson DeCastro. Nelson did the X Factor subset. Peter Scanlon did the X Force subset. Greg and Tim Hildebrandt were on this set. And the one I've been kind of saving because it blew my mind when I read through it. John Romita Sr. did.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
At least, according to this list, artwork for 5 of the base cards from Fleer Ultra X-Men '95. So I guess that's kind of that sets your marker in terms of pedigree. We've talked about Marvel Masterpieces being kind of like the Rolls Royce of the card world. I think based on that list of artists there, this is the Bentley or the Aston Martin.
Well, yeah, and it doesn't. Those lists don't exist anymore either, right? We're not seeing cards produced by such an array of artists.
Yeah,
such a collection of them. Not really.
Original artwork, really, artwork that holds up. It's obviously made in the '90s, but it isn't necessarily of the '90s, and
right
in that way. Then you've got Sinister Observations, which is Julian Boris tag teaming again. We've talked about Hunters and Stalkers with Dave. We have Suspended Animation Cells by Gary, and I know I'm going to muff up his surname, so apologies, Gary. Cicerelli, I believe his surname is, who I haven't actually heard of since, so I'm guessing he's still active, but maybe not on Marvel Arts. But he did the suspended animation ones. Then, of course, you got the Ultra Prints, which are larger versions of the same artwork in the cards.
Yeah.
Suspended animation cards, which are basically the same as the cells, but they're on regular cardstock, and they were just in Toy Biz action figures. And then loads of promos, which is pretty much par for the course.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the card album, the binder that we talked about, which is stunning, which is, I've seen one for sale on this side of the pond from a seller in France, and they wanted over €100 for it. So,
yeah, there's one on eBay now that has tons of watchers, so I know people are aware of it. It's pre-owned plus bonus big cards, $50, but I don't know. I haven't looked at the listing, but they're rare.
Yeah, if for $50, and if I was I might even ask you to snap it up for me. Were I not so skint, but I would. I do want one at some point. But I think a lot of people. I think that they're sought after because they're gorgeous. They're sought
They
after
are.
because a lot of people have come into the set later. They're also sought after because I think a lot of people have used them for other X-Men sets, including Fleer Ultra X-Men 2018, which
Nice
are
segue.
which is thank you, which is so big. The set is absolutely vast. So, okay,
Yeah.
Ultra X-Men 95, and I know there was a 94, but I'm not
You
talking.
got 95 up.
I got 95 up. It's just easier. We're talking 200 cards tops, 180 maybe. Just the base, just the base set, Fleer Ultra X-Men 2018 is 150 cards. Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
That's
75
heroes
heroes,
and
75
75
villains.
There we go. And I won't lie to you, some of them I haven't heard of, but I'm bigger into Spider-Man and Daredevil comics than I am to X-Men, even though I love X-Men. So,
I think
That's-
X-Men's good for a big set because you
Yeah.
have a range of mutants, right? It's so cool to
so
always
many.
see someone pop up. Like whenever I see Morph on a card, I get excited
Yeah.
because he was in the animated series and
Yeah.
I get giddy. I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh, Morph. I forgot about Morph.
Right, okay. This is this is going to mean nothing to you. It might mean something to UK listeners. You say morph, and I think of a plasticine animated character from the 80s called Morph that was done by Aardman Animation, who went on to do Chicken Run and
Oh, wow.
Comforts. It was their early work.
Yeah, Oddman.
Yeah, so
Right.
that's stop motion plasticine effects. So with the tasting notes,
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Morph
Oh,
is
wow.
hilarious.
Yeah.
If you want a really funny 5-10 minutes, even longer,
Yeah.
just allow yourself to go onto YouTube and look up Morph. And you should probably add some words to it, otherwise you might get the X-Men one. So if you type in Morph, Tony Hart, Tony and then Hart, it was his show. He's passed away now, but he did an art show on children's television in the 80s.
Oh, wow.
In the UK. And Morph and Chaz were two characters on there, and Chaz was his naughtier brother who got up to stuff. And it was because it was children's television, and I think I'm absolutely swear they were all off their
Hate when I do that.
cocaine when they were making it. You can bleep that out if you need to. One of the characters was a brush, like literally a brush.
I know what you're talking about because I actually
That was
thought
a
it.
dog.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Anyway,
It's
so
bizarre.
back to Fleer Ultra X and back to Marvel related things because it's what the podcast is about. Ultra X-Men 2018. So that's just the base set, okay? Then you have Dead and Gone. I'm doing this from memory now because I've managed to lock myself out my packs.
Here, I got it.
Okay, so you got Dead and Gone.
You got Dead and Gone. You got Canvas. You got Xavier variants.
Hang on. Let's just stick to the sets. Let's not go to the variants. Yeah. So you got Dead and Gone. Then you've got Deadpool Around the World.
I see.
So there's 10 Dead and Gone, I believe.
Wow, there's a lot of Dead and Gone.
That's the thing.
I think it's 7.
There's only. Hang on a minute. Let me just find it. But there's 10 Dead and Gone.
Right.
And then there are 10 Deadpool Around the World. So my first thought on doing this is I really I love you, Upper Deck, but I kind of want to reach into my screen and just give you a little slap around the face. 10 cards for 9 card binder, guys, is just really annoying. Please stop doing it. Please stop doing it. Anyway, back to the thing. So you got the base set heroes, base set villains. That's 75 each. Okay. Then we're going down to Dead and Gone, which is 10 cards. Then you've got Deadpool Around the World, which is 10 cards. Then you've got Greatest Battles, which is 10 cards. Now that's good because that's a nice segue back to 94. And I have here 2 that arrived in the post this week in the mail call. Fleer Ultra X-Men 1994, X-Men's Greatest Battles. So I love that they've done this real kind of loving homage and reproduction of those 90s sets. So that's where that's come from. So that's good. So you've got Greatest Battles. Okay. Then you've got the Originals, I believe it is, which is 10 card set. And then you've got X-Men 92, which is a 10-card set. Okay, so you're with me so far, but that's not all. Okay,
No.
I haven't even gone to variants yet, by the way. This is just the base level. Okay, then you've got Marvel Fleer Ultra X-Men Metal Blasters. Okay,
Yep.
49 of those. So we had them on Fleer Ultra Spider-Man, and obviously Metal had its own set in the 90s. So that is what it is. Then you have Master of Magnetism, which is 15 cards, which is all about Magneto. And as I understand it, those are made of aluminium. Just let that sink in for a second. I haven't actually had any of these cards physically in hand, by the way.
Ah,
I own over 500.
I'm glad they found that precious metal.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. Which is someone pointed this out to me actually, that it's quite ironic because aluminium's the one thing you probably can't touch.
Yeah,
what are you
that's
gonna
pretty funny.
do? And then you have Jambalaya. There's 30
Jambalaya.
which is 30 of those. I'm not sure about those, to be honest with you, because I have one, because there was a Black Cat one from Fleer Ultra Spider-Man. And I've got it, but I can't say that as a card, because it's not really a card. It's kind of an oval shape.
Yeah, I have a Surfer one for retro.
Yeah,
Fleer
so
retro.
I'm not sure about that. I might go for those. I might not. I haven't got any yet. Anyway, and then you have this is a really interesting one. Stax, spelled STAX.
Ah, man, I love the look of these things.
In a very kind of 70s record label kind of style spelling. So you got Stax, and there are 30 times 3, so there's 90 of them basically. And when I say times 3, I mean that there is a bottom layer. So there's a card that's the bottom layer. Then there's another card that's the middle layer. And then there's another card that's the top layer. And it runs 1 to 30.
And
so,
5 of those 30 are short prints.
Exactly,
So
yeah. The highest number. So 26 through 30 are short print. So top layer is A. So 1A is the top layer of Cyclops. Middle layer is B. So 1B is the middle layer of Cyclops. And 1C is the bottom layer. So the idea being that if you put the cards together, they will build an image. So I think that's kind of a really nice idea. So the one thing I do know about Fleer Ultra X-Men 2018, fucks them, is that it's thick, like Marvel Masterpieces 2016 and 2018. Yeah, and
they're nice.
Fleer Ultra Spider-Man. So I know that they're thick cards. Fleer Ultra Spider-Man is beautiful. And I'm still nibbling away at that one, but it's nowhere near as big as this set. So,
is it really? I thought they're not the same size.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
They're not the same size at all, because we're still just on. If you were going to go for every card, regardless of variants, we're still going. Okay. So you've got the stacks. Okay. So I don't know how thick they are, which is what I was building up to say, because how would you fit 3 of the maximum thickness into, well, anything? Quite frankly, be like,
well, the stacks. I don't think the stacks are as.
That's
no,
the thing.
I
think they're thinner.
No, I've seen them. Yeah, they're thin and they're translucent. So what I think what's a really good idea is basically you're looking, because they don't have printing plates for the X-Men, right? For the Fleer Ultra.
I haven't seen them. No,
so
I haven't actually. They're not on the checklist. They're not on EPAC.
No. So I think the stacks is actually a really cool idea, where you're basically you're making a card with printing plates, but instead of being metal, they're translucent. So you're getting the variation of colors, so you can build up one card, which I think I love that. I think it's awesome. Every time I see them, I flirt with the idea of getting a few.
Well, I look at it and I kind of wonder if it's like a build your own shadow box card as well.
I think
the effect would be.
Yeah, well, I've seen it looks like a printed card when you put them together. Like graphically, it looks like a printed card. I wonder if it makes up the same thickness as the regular thick card. I think they do.
Yeah.
I think they do. I think they just separated them. Yeah, it's
very
nice.
The attention to detail that these premium sets like Fleer Ultra X-Men, because make no mistake, this is not a cheap set to go for. I think it's about $150 for a box.
How many
Um,
packs and cards are in a box?
Get 12. I think you get 12. I watched an unboxing video online. You get 12 packs, and there's 6 cards a pack. So it's it's a and okay. So we still haven't reached the edges.
Sorry, go for it, brother.
So then you've got Fleer Ultra X-Men 94 buybacks and Fleer Ultra X-Men 95 buybacks. So as we spoke about with Marvel Masterpieces on episode 3, I think, these are cards that were released. So these ones I'm still collecting. From 94, 95, they've taken them back in, they've given them a stamp, and they've released them back into the wild.
I love that.
So they're in these sets. Okay. Then you have something that Upper Deck have been doing for a few years now. I first saw it on Marvel Beginnings, but I know that Fleer Ultra Spider-Man Fussum did it. Is the comic panel cuts, where they've taken sections of comics and put them in the cards, and I love those.
I
really
love
like
those.
Yeah, it's
They're
nice.
awesome. I was just about to post my card for the day for the surfer Instagram thing I have, and it's of the comic panel, the cut. I love those.
You can pimp it. You can pimp it. We're shameless here.
I didn't even mean to. I just literally made it in the computer to do the square thing. So I was just laughing to myself. I love those cards so much. They're so pretty, man.
Yeah.
And they're they really are one of a kind in a way. They really are. Very few.
Yeah.
A lot of them are very unique. And there's a video. Oh man, I'll find the link and we'll post it on the group.
Yeah.
I think I did do that.
No, well, listen.
We'll figure it out. Yeah.
Then, and you know what it's like with Facebook. If it goes down the page, it's gone. So comic panel cuts. I've got some of those from Marvel. Have I got some from Marvel Beginnings? I think I do. But I've got a double one. So here we go. So you've got the comic panel, then you've got dual cuts, which I believe is 2 kind of panels of card, and I've got that from Fleer Ultra Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 194 First Black Cat. So I've got a single and a double from that. So so I know they're good. I'm reliably informed that they take beaten up copies, not really shiny copies. So,
no, you can tell.
Exactly. Which is good. So, and then you've got sketch cards. Now, sketch cards are a bit of a scarcity with Fleer Ultra X-Men.
And the Spider-Man as well.
Yeah, because they don't fall 1 per box. So unlike the other releases that often have a guaranteed sketch per box, these don't. I think they fall I think it's 1 or 2 per case, if then. So I know they're like gold dust, and I'll come back to that. Then you have sketch cards 4-piece, 5-piece, 2-piece, and 3-piece. So these are puzzle sketches, I'm imagining.
Yeah.
And there, I think we have kind of done the borders of the jigsaw. Okay. At this point, it gets big. You then have a rainbow, a silver. Actually, no, it doesn't go in that order. It goes silver, then I believe it's rainbow, then I believe it's gold, then a canvas red, and then a Xavier variant. So, of the Hero 75, you've got base, you've got silver, you've got rainbow, you've got gold. So it's 75 each. You've got canvas red, and then you've got Xavier variants.
Wow.
Now, I know a couple of those. I can't remember which ones off the top of my head. Were only available for e-packs, where you had to get 5 of the tier below to be able to then redeem them for those cards. So once you get up to the top end, there really aren't that many of them at all. I have a feeling the red might be 1 of 1, possibly.
The auto red?
Yeah. No. Just the canvas red parallel. It says nothing.
Canvas red. I wonder. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, there's no 1 of 1.
Because like I say, I can't get into my.
I'm looking now. I was trying to find the video real quick. Let me see. So what is the title?
X-Men Canvas Red Parallel.
Got it.
Okay, so while you're looking for that, you've also got the same tiers for Dead and Gone. You've got the same tiers for Deadpool around the world. You've got the same tiers for Greatest Battles. You've got the same tiers for the originals. You've got the same tiers for. I've just realised I missed something from the base set. I'll go back to it. You've got the same tiers for X-Men '92. You don't have the same tiers for the Metal Blasters. They kind of do a different thing, which I'll come on to. So, instantly, you've got that base set has grown 6 times if you were going to go for all of those cards. So you're probably looking at well over 1,500 cards. Okay, I missed out something from what I regard as the base set, which is called X Cuts, I believe they're called, and these look really nice. There's 42 of them, and again they come in tiers. They do red, yellow, blue, and black, and these are, I believe, they're clear cards. With the artwork on them, so they're kind of
they're clear. Yeah, they're translucent, and then they have a color overlay.
Exactly.
Are the blacks one of one, or is it the reds? Let me see.
I'm not sure.
I'll find out.
But you got those, and then the
Black.
Metal Blasters. So the base layer on that is silver, and then the Metal Blasters go into PMG, Precious Metal Gems territory. So you've got PMG Bronze, PMG red, blue, green, purple, and gold. So you've actually got 7 sets of Metal Blasters there. And once you get into some of those colours, I think there's only 5 of them, maybe even 1 of them in some cases. So it's one of these sets like Marvel Masterpieces where it's nigh on impossible to own a master set, because
a master sets are.
If you take the meaning
A
of
true
master set to be owning every single card produced in that set. However, some people on EPAX have clearly tried, because there's one fella, and I haven't asked his permission, so I'm not going to reveal his name or his handle. There's one fellow on EPAX who has 5 to 6 figures cards in his EPAX account, and probably must have purchased maybe 60 to 70% of the Fuxom product out there. He is mad levels. He's really into his Fleer Ultra X-Men. So hats off to you, Mr. Fuxom, as we very respectfully regard you. I'm hoping you'll come on and talk about your collection. I've made an initial approach to the fella. So
yeah, that'd be amazing.
So that would be good. So anyway,
crazy.
So so I'm going back 10 days, and I didn't really know any of this in terms of the makeup of the set. I knew it was big. I knew it was crazy. I knew people were kind of running around chasing their tails, trying to get their stacks completed, and I know the sketches were sought after. And there's a guy on group, and I'm going to say his name. I did message him earlier, and I asked his permission. I said, "Do you mind if we talk about you on the podcast?" And he hasn't replied yet, because I'm in the UK, he's in the US. I don't know.
Yeah.
Shift is always
The
days,
time
so
is
that's fine.
harsh. Yeah.
So that's fine. So I'm going to say his name. If he comes back to me and says no, then we'll bleep it out. So
okay.
So we'll have a separate Fuxom bleep for this one. So Jonathan Omega Hunter is his name on the group.
Oh yeah.
He's a lovely bloke, because what he's basically doing is he's gone after Fleer Ultra X-Men in a big way, and he's really into it, and he's getting quite far down the rabbit hole, and he's built most of his sets. He's built himself a backup set. He's shipped a lot of cards. He's been showing pictures on the group of boxes.
Yeah.
5,000 cards that weigh 20 pounds, and he's still not got the full set with him, and he's when you're shipping that volume of cards from Upper Deck, it's not a cheap thing. And he basically was saying that he had benefited from another collector, possibly the big collector we were talking about, just saying, he's got so many cards now because he's chasing certain things, that he's kind of paying it forward, if you like. He's sharing it with other collectors, and so Jonathan was saying that he would do a similar thing. So he's done me some trades, and it's one of these things where you kind of say it's if it's too good to be true, it probably is. But then, I was chatting to the guy, and he's just a really well-meaning guy, brilliant collector, and he quite rightly said that if everyone in the hobby was as nice to each other as this, everyone would have their perfect sets. Which I kind of
So true.
agree with. So he's
So
effectively.
true.
I have bought some cards off him at a ridiculously low price, but he effectively set me up with pretty much all of the base stuff in exchange for very, very few cards. I mean, when I say very few cards, he sent me a bundle trade of probably 200 cards initially, and he only in return claimed about 10 of mine.
Wow.
And so, and he was basically saying, look, if you end up with doubles, just pay it forward like I have. So I fully intend to. So once I have completed it. So in the space of a week, I have got all but 2 of the base. I think I've got base. There's a base villains I've not got. There's a base dead and gone I've not got.
Holy crap.
I've got only 2 of the Master of Magnetism. I've got about 4 or 5 of the stacks out of the 30, out of the 90 rather. I've got a couple of X cuts. Those are kind of higher tier base, if you know what I mean. So those are going to be the last ones I go for. I've not got any Jambalaya because I'm not sure if I'm going to chase that. But I've
Jambalaya is like $50 at Jambalaya on eBay.
yeah.
That's pretty steep.
It is. So
yeah.
I'm not, like I said, I'm kind of indifferent about the Jambalaya cards because they're not cards, possibly. Anyway, is it a card? Is it a pog? Who knows? The Jambalaya fans go to.
They're beautiful. It took a while for me to
Yeah.
chase. It took a while for me to chase my Surfer Jambalaya.
Yeah.
I don't like the condition they come in sometimes, but I do think they're a nice addition to a set.
They are a nice addition. I'm just
really
going to get my Black Cat one out while we're talking here, out of my Black Cat binder, which will make an angelic noise when I open it, as it always does. And light comes down from the heavens. So while
bright.
I'm finding that, the Jambalaya card, which I've done straight away, it's almost as if it was there for me. So I've got it, and it's a weird kind of sensation. The texture.
There's a very weird texture. It feels very unique in your hand because it doesn't feel like a card.
It almost feels like kind of a material.
Yeah, it feels like a cloth.
Yeah,
for sure.
Exactly. It feels like a
yeah, mine does too.
On a card. It's thinner than I thought it would be. It's got a kind of a refractor effect behind the material.
Yeah.
Actually, I might have been doing it a disservice, but anyway, if you're a Jambalaya fan, you can leave us a message at anchor.fm/MCCP, professing your love for a Jambalaya cards, and we will guarantee to include it in a future episode. So Jambalayas, I may not do that, but I've got all the Dead and Gone Part 1. I've got all the originals. I've got all the X-Men 92. I've got all of the blasters, which, to be fair, I did do some trading. I posted on some groups and other people helped fill the gap. So I've got the metal blasters. And once I got that metal blaster set, I got the unredeemed ones. I redeemed it for Metal Blaster. I'm not sure if it's card 50 or if it's card 0 on the Metal Blasters, but it's Old Man Logan. So you had to get Metal Blasters 1 to 49 and then redeem it for the 50. And then there's an Old Man Logan bronze, an Old Man Logan red. So when you get all the bronze, you can redeem for the Old Man Logan bronze. So and I'm going to stop there on the Metal Blasters because I'm kind of okay with them. I don't feel the need to own all the different colors of them.
I get that.
I've got all the greatest battles. I've got all the Deadpool around the world. So now, and this is where I made a purchase with Jonathan. I've got pretty much all of the silver apart from 19 cards.
Wow.
So
wait. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm kind of in deep on that one, and I think I'm going to do Rainbow. and that's me. Simply because I know when I get it into the 9-card pockets, what I do with Marvel Masterpieces is I have base, Gold Sig, and What If, and I have it set 1, 2, 3, going left to right.
I
So
like that.
it kind of works for my 9-card pocket mentality, which
Yeah.
Upper Deck are determined to break me on that, and thousands like me, I'm sure.
It just doesn't make sense
Yeah.
anyway. But yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, it is what it is. So I set structure we've talked about. So the artwork is astonishing. We mentioned Tom Fleming. I know he worked on it. Eric Wilkerson, he worked on it.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Eric. Dave DeVries worked on it as well. This is what I'm slightly fumbling for the names, because if you're logged into the store and you go to the so there is a section of cards that are signed. I think it might be the gold ones or the canvas red that are artist signed, like they did with Fleer Ultra Spider-Man.
Yeah, I thought it was.
And if you read through that, you can read who all the artists are. But this is all original artwork, and there are some astonishing bits
Really
of work
beautiful
in that
pieces.
set. They really are.
Yeah. This was a sleeper set. I feel like a few people went for it, but I don't really know. I don't know how much of a splash it made, because I feel like there's a pocket of people who are going at this really hard.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's one of those things. It's still splashing. You can still buy it. So the
Right,
print
which is
run
amazing.
must be absolutely vast. I mean, you can buy it physical, because Dave and Adams are still shipping them out by the
Yeah.
truckload.
They just had sale too, or something. Like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And I think I heard tell of someone having 12 cases delivered and stuff like that. So
12 cases.
people are still going in. I know that we've had some of the guys on group do some case break videos over the last few months. So it's a set that I think people are very receptive to, but make no mistake, it is not a cheap set to get involved with, which is why I'm so grateful to the guys in the hobby who have been buying a
Been
lot of
so
this
kind.
products and ended up, let's face it, with literally hundreds of base cards, or whatever set it may be, whether it's
Yeah.
the heroes, the villains, the Deadpool, whatever, that are just sat there. And there's a it's one of those things. It's like Marvel Masterpieces, but in a much bigger scale, because make no mistake, this set is probably 5 or 6 times bigger than Marvel Masterpieces one.
Oh yeah, hands down. Yeah.
In that you end up with so much product being purchased in the chase of those high cards, that the very basis cards, so that your tier 1s, your tier 2s, your tier 3s are actually getting pretty cheap these days on Marvel Masterpieces. Or that one has now sold out. That was a much smaller print run. Being worth a lot less, because there's simply so many of it out there. So you can you can pick those up very, very cleanly. So
Yeah, you can. I was just on eBay. It's not hard to. I mean, the cards, and each card is beautiful, and they're not cheap cards at all.
Yeah.
But a lot of them, not a lot of them, but a few can be seen on eBay, and there's some nice sketches on there too.
Yeah,
And I think that the sketch cards from this set, like the Spider-Man one, are really high quality. Like, you look at the back of the sketch card for the X-Men one, and it's the original cast of the X-Men, and it's that giant size X-Men cover, beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Hold on one second.
While you're finding that, I'm just going to talk about Cards Illustrated was a magazine, and we'll talk about Cards Illustrated on a future episode. But Cards...
Sorry about that.
That's okay. So I was just talking about Cards Illustrated while you stepped away. And we may edit that out. We might not edit that out. Who knows? But
That's fine.
Funny.
Doesn't matter.
I was just peddling there as if we were live on air. And one of these
I'm
days,
fine with that.
We will do one of these live, and it will be ghastly to behold. So I'm looking at Cards Illustrated, which was a magazine that ran for maybe 25, 30 issues in the 90s. The #1 guide to non-sports trading cards. And I've been gradually snapping these up, because they are just lovely time capsules of the period and the kind of PR and the way that these cards promoted themselves in a pre-internet era.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the February 95 issue, which is issue 14, which was $3.99 US or $5.50 Canada. And in it, it has an article on Fleer Ultra X-Men.
Oh, awesome.
94 or 95? It's unclear. Anyway, and it talks to Greg and Tim Hildebrandt. It talks to Dave DeVries. It talks to Louis Royal, Peter Scanlon, and then it goes on
Wow.
to talk about the set. Yeah, this is Ultra X-Men 95 they're talking about here. And it goes on to talk about the set, and it talks about the promo cards that have been in various comics. And we're going to talk about promo cards in comics and magazines on a different episode, because that's a whole area in itself that the thrill of that hunt is fascinating. We've touched upon it a little bit with some of the promos we've talked about on previous episodes.
Yeah.
Anyway, Cards Illustrated, they're wonderful little magazines if you can find them. If you're into your 90s stuff, not all of them talk about Marvel. As much as there was a lot of Marvel product out there, there was an awful lot of other stuff. So there's Topps Wide Vision, which is Star Wars being talked about in this issue. There's Vertigo cards. There's Julie Bell's Fantasy Football.
What?
Wow, who knew that was a thing? Julie, we need to get you on the podcast and talk to you about that. Wow, that's wonderful. Julie Bell's
That's
Fantasy Football.
pretty cool.
Bell provided the art for all 6 Tech Chrome cards in this NFL Football Redemption set. The set is only available by sending in 25 playoff football card wrappers and $5 to Playoff Julie Bell Fantasy, PO Box 53517, Grand Prairie, Texas.
No way.
Oh, that's wonderful. Let's send that in right now.
Done.
Oh, I've got to track down that set. But there's the Sandman. There's Mike Kaluta, which is a fantasy illustrator. There's Santa Around the World. There's Stargate. There's classic sci-fi art. There's Lion King too. Anyway, you name it. If you like your cards and you want to read something that promotes them when they were out, yeah, do it. I've just found here every issue of Cards Illustrated is loaded with contests that allow our readers the chance to win some of the latest card sets, promo cards, and other stuff we can dig up.
Oh, wow.
Okay, the winners are, and this one was the Hildebrandt contest. The winners of the Hildebrandt contest, in which entrants were to draw their favorite Marvel character and have their entries judged by the Hildebrandts.
Whoa.
Barbara Perry of Burleson, Texas, who received the pencil sketch of the legacy card of Fleer Marvel Masterpieces 95 set. Wow. Okay, so we know.
That's crazy.
We know where the pencil sketch for the card of the character Legacy from Marvel Masterpieces 95 went initially. The winner of the
Wow.
competition. We also know who received the Nebula sketch from the same set, Shelton Long of Pinole, California, and Eugene Kirk from Apple Valley, California, received the Phoenix sketch from the set. We need to find these people. Wow, that's bonkers.
Insane.
So yeah, this is brilliant. So what I am going to try and do is I'm still collecting these magazines. I've got maybe 8, 9 of them now. There's an interview here with Boris Vallejo. Wonderful.
Wow.
So what I'm going to try and do is start scanning these in, so that
That would be really cool. So we can have them in the group.
CCW group. So so they're there as a resource, and you guys can come and have a look at them. So Fleer Ultra X-Men, I'm going to carry on that journey because I'm still building the 94, 95 sets. There was a 96 set, I believe, which was, I believe it was the Kuberts did the 96 one. X-Men 96 Fleer, let's have a look. It was, yes. It was Andy and Joe Kubert did all the artwork for that one. And that had Alternate X and Lethal Weapon Hollow Flash cards. There was also an X-Men 95 Ultra all chromium,
Whoa.
which was Andy and Joe again. And I have a feeling that the 96 one is a regular version of the 95 chromium one. So it's the same kind of art. It's just there's a chromium version, and the following year was just a regular version of that set.
Fascinating. Okay.
And I think that's because the card industry was starting to just contract a little bit at that point,
Yeah.
which explains the low print run of Marvel Masterpieces 96. So that's interesting. So
Yeah.
will there be another Fleer Ultra X-Men set? I don't know. I have a feeling this one's still got a lot of gas in the tank. People are still buying it.
I mean, it's still around. They're still product. They're
It's
not
been
going to
out
make a
for a while.
second one, and
Yeah.
it's so massive. I see them. What year did that come out? So it came out 18, right?
2018. It was out before
So-
Marvel Masterpieces.
Yeah. So
yeah.
that was early in the year of 2018, probably.
But
Wow.
so I'm going to keep nibbling away at the 90s sets for that as much as I can in the UK. I'm going to be carrying on. I don't know where this road's going to end. I think I'm going to stop with the rainbow foil. I'm not sure if I'm going to go there yet. I've got the base. I've got pretty much all the silvers. They're all still a virtual thing. At some point I
Yeah.
need to get them shipped. And that'll be a pretty big box. So I'm over in the States at Christmas, so I might get it shipped there because it'd be easier to carry it back than mail
That's
that one.
smart.
That's going to be a big
actually.
one. So I might get it mailed to our friends in New Hampshire that we're gonna stay with. But that's
Cool.
something no one really needs to hear. But I will be in your fair land in 6 months'
We
time.
know your whereabouts now. yeah.
Exactly. So, what I wanted to say was because we talked very briefly about Cards Illustrated, and we are going to talk about that in more depth on future episodes. I think we'll probably do an episode devoted to it once we've both got copies in front of us, and we can
Yeah, that'd be great.
dive into it a bit more. It was last week's episode. We talked about investment and values.
Yes.
And the one thing that kind of came up when I was thinking about the kind of pay it forward and the mentality that if people weren't, it's difficult this one because I get people are chasing certain characters in a one-of-one market that we are now. It's difficult to get that set.
Yeah.
So there is often a lot of interest in just one card that only exists once, and not
Yeah.
everyone can own it. So I get that.
Yeah.
But it brought me back to the mind of there are the people that, and there's no this is no right or wrong thing. It's just a different way of looking at it. Back when I was trading before EPAX, when I'd be trading with someone, I'm going back 10 years now, and I'm talking about the NSU Card Talk forum, for example, or Scoundrel.
Scoundrel.
Scoundrel, which is still up, still live. I don't think many people post
That was
there.
So when I decided to get into the hobby seriously,
Mhm.
I found Scoundrel just by chance.
Mm.
And that was like the resource for me when I first started. It was before we got the group and before Blowout became really popular. But Scoundrel it's crazy. If you go on there as well, you can see a bunch of cards that are just not around anymore. And you don't know who has them.
Well,
and they're just
when
set up
the photo
there.
bucket links still work.
Yes.
Do
Yeah,
you remember Photo Bucket?
very fair.
Oh, my goodness.
Photo
me.
Bucket has a lot of nice cards on there.
Yeah, exactly. So the one thing I find really interesting, and again, I wouldn't mind talking about Scoundrel at some point, and I don't know who ran it. I'm sure I could probably find out if you looked on there. I'd love to know, was it a hobby thing? Was it attached to a business in any way?
We'll have a card drama episode because it's real.
Did they just let it drift? Did it just,
I know I know what happened.
I don't know. Anyway, well, we'll talk about it on a few.
We'll talk about it another time.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll
That's
talk
a
about it on
thing.
things.
So
Anyway.
paying it forward. Tell me.
So when I was thinking about that, I used to trade with people, and you would sit there, and you'd both be working out, is that an even trade? And you'd be working out the book value, was the phrase people used to use. And I find book value a really interesting phrase because it was largely about the value that, and I think there's not that many of them these days. Non-Sport Update is the main one that included a price guide with every issue. And so people would refer to that. Now, there's a lot of, even at the time I was buying it regularly, about 10 years ago, I kind of don't buy it that much anymore, partly because it's a bit tricky to get hold of in the UK, unless you work 50 yards down the road from Forbidden Planet, and I no longer do. So, and although to their credit, when it did come in Forbidden Planet, it sold out pretty quick. So it's a
Oh, wow.
popular magazine. Hats off to them. They have always done, I think, a great job. When you got that and you look through it, you'd look through it, and some of it was. I remember reading this quite recently. I think Marvel Masterpieces '96 is still in there with a really if you could find Marvel Masterpieces base set for that amount of money, I'd have 6 of them, seriously, and just sell them, because it's not. I don't think in all cases reflective of actually what the market, and I say this with speech bubble fingers in the air, which, let's face it, is eBay. As we talked about
The
last
market
week.
is eBay.
That is kind
period.
of where people are going now. Outside of the EPAC's closed environment, you've got either ComC or you've got eBay. And often ComC will then list on eBay. So it's there. So you've got that whole book value thing. And I thought it was interesting as a kind of addendum to last week, because I meant to talk about book value last week, is how that used to be the yardstick. But now, I always say, yes, book value is fine. The most recent non-sports update price guide I have, however, is 4 years old, so I've not got the current one. I don't know if it's available as a digital version. I know it is definitely possible to have that as a live thing that reads like GPAs or whatever you'd think of it, like you can get for graded comics.
Yeah.
You can go on and you can see what the selling prices average is for a 3.5 X-Men 8, for example. You can do that because that builds and exists. So with a little bit of investment, that could tap directly into it, and that kind of book value, you could still call it the same thing, but it would become a much more real thing because it would be tapped into and pulling in from the market. Now, Non-Sport Update is now owned by Beckett, and I've recently gone on and built a nice little subset thing for searching for Black Cat, as you did for Silver Surfer, which again I think we'll talk about on another episode because we've talked about it on group, which is great. So I know that it's possible to do that and have an API feed and pick up eBay values and do all of that kind of thing. It's definitely possible to do that and have it integrated and have it real time. So
yeah, I mean, that would be
so your book value and your market value, which is your ComC, which you can't see sold prices on, to be fair, and also to be fair, on eBay you can't see sold prices where best offer has been accepted. So it's not completely foolproof way of doing it. You had an evil grin when you said yes. Then
no, I didn't. What?
That's crazy. Know someone who works at eBay.
I don't know anything. I'm not that guy. But, I'll tell you later.
Yeah, exactly.
No, and it's true. Okay, so yeah, I think there is something that could I didn't know Beckett bought Non-Sport. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. I think I can't remember Harris Tozer and Roxanne Tozer, because it was a family-run business for the longest time, and I think they're still in there. But I think I might be wrong, so I don't want to say the wrong thing and
no, I got you.
Off a load of people. But
we'll look this up.
I think I did read when I signed up to Beckett a few weeks back that they had acquired Non-Sport Update about 2-3 years ago. So
wow.
So which is great, which is absolutely great news, and it's
fantastic.
That will carry on being around because if you're an independent, especially in a niche hobby thing like this, you rely on those 4 or 5 issues that
you have to
selling. You don't want them getting returned. So hats off to them. Anyway, so book value, and so it's really good that sometimes you deal with people where it's like, listen, I'm just trying to help you out, and I've had probably 4 or 5 people in the past week, because I've been posting saying, oh, I'm here and I've got these gaps to fill. I'm here, I've got these gaps to fill, because I got a good leg up. I got a good starter from Jonathan. Beep there if you need to. If you need to, hopefully he'll message and say, "No, it's cool, man. You talk about me, as long as you're not rude." And other people have filled the gaps, and they've sent me messages when they've sent the trade thing on EPACs and said, oh, I just wanted to help you out. It's really nice to see someone just getting into it. Do you know what I mean? It's really nice.
I do know what you mean.
So, yeah. So that's kind of the note I wanted to end on, really. Pay it forward. So, I've got doubles of the base now. I'm going to
look, and that's
that forward.
Paying it forward will always it will prevent spikes in the market that
Yeah.
are unrealistic, and it will prevent hoarding, which causes big spikes to cards when they finally surface.
Mm.
You know, paying it forward is just good practice
Mm.
for the hobby, and it's such a small hobby. So, you know, when you're talking to somebody, there's already a reputation of that person if you know people. You know what I mean? Like, paying it forward is the way to go, because I've always been kind. I actually, as crazy as it was when I first got into cards MM16, and I was doing the hunting for Surfer, I was like, you know, I am not so interested in when I was first getting into the hobby, I wasn't so interested in the autos, and I helped someone get a Silver Surfer Joe Jusko auto.
Yeah.
And just because I had made that promise, and that person has always looked out for me and has gotten me so many more cards than just that card. And it's just one of those things where it's like, people will always be helping people, and that's kind of, that's been really kind. That's been one of the biggest positives in the hobby for me.
That's cool. Okie dokie. So I think we'll wrap up there, folks. Thanks for listening. Thank you for the wonderful comments again on episode 1. Episode 2 is going to drop next week, although by the time this drops, we'll have that would have been weeks ago, so we'll know where we are. I love having these sort of kind of, you know, recorded ahead of time. I'm assuming we'll catch up with ourselves at some point, and we can be much more on point. So by the time you hear this, we'll know, for example, what the next 4-weekly chunk of Marvel Weekly is going to be.
Definitely.
Wolverine is now finished. And by the time you hear this, Flare 2019 would have dropped. So
Perfect.
Who knows? But yes, we'll definitely be talking about Flare. And as ever, you can leave us voice messages if you wish to. We are available on more than just Anchor now with episode 1. So we will update the outro to this podcast with all those. And thank you for listening. And until next time, Norin,
My friend.
it's been a pleasure. Enjoy collecting, people.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Marvel Card Collectors Podcast. You can subscribe via our home on anchor.fm/MCCP. Leave us a message via that link with questions, comments, or just to say hi, and we may even play on the show. We'll also be on iTunes and most other main podcast platforms soon. On Facebook, you can find Marvel Card Collectors Worldwide by searching MCCW, and Marvel Masterpieces Collectors by searching MMC. On Instagram, find us at MMCollectors and at Sketchcard High. The great music we use is called Rocket Power by Kevin MacLeod. Thanks to the collectors, artists, and creators who support the Marvel Cards Fan Collective. We'll see you next time, and remember, it's a small hobby, but a fun one. Make mine Marvel, and enjoy collecting.